Yo, what is going on? Your boy Noobs here with a brand new video for you guys. I hope you all click look it's fun to go to the channel, do all the things the algorithm likes. But let's get right into today's video. Today's video, we're gonna do a impressions video on Rings of Power. We're gonna talk about how I liked it, how I didn't like it, what I think about it, and in general, just the show itself. We're not gonna go like episode by episode. This is a full breakdown. This is just a I want to make it as quick as possible and talk about my opinions on the show. I don't want this video being too long. Before we get into it though, we'll say like as a small little disclaimer, or even just to mention it so you understand where I stand with Lord of the Rings and this kind of show. I made a video a long time ago, like a month ago, where I played Shadow of Mordor, and I explained the same thing where it's like I'm not a Lord of the Rings fanboy. I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan. I've only seen the first two Hobbit films and the first Lord of the Rings movie. That's it. Didn't see the third Hobbit movie, didn't see the other two Lord of the Rings movies. I didn't watch a little old cartoon. I did play the Lord of the Rings MMO. I have played Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor, and I haven't read the books. I'm not going to read the books. I don't care to read the books, so don't bother with that. So don't bother with that whole thing when it comes to read the books and things like that. I do have a decent, not good, decent understanding of Lord of the Rings and his lore. The Silmarillion and things like that. I have watched lore videos on individual characters. Not no, by no means am I expert. By no means, do I know as much as you do, who will probably like rant off, do what you gotta do. That's in my last video. When it comes to comments, if you have, if it's constructive, cool. If you just want to like be like a dickhead or insulting, just gonna delete your comment because I don't really give a shit. But when it comes to, I'm just letting you guys know that so you understand that I'm not going to go pick this show apart and compare it to the movies. I'm not going to pick this show apart and compare it to the books because I didn't watch two of the Lord of the Rings films. I didn't watch the last Hobbit movie. I didn't read the books. I'm not going to. I'm not going to read those books. I will, however, watch those movies. Why? Because this show made me want to. That's how good this show is. This show is so good, it made me want to watch the other movies. I've only seen the first movie, and that was like 10 years ago. I now want to rewatch all three because of this show. And yes, this show is not based on like entirely on it. They didn't even have the rights to even use Silmarillion. Yes, this show is like a prequel that has like basically almost nothing to do. It's like not entirely, but mostly you don't need to watch this show to understand the movie. But much like Shadow of Mordor, this movie made me interested into the lore of Lord of the Rings to a point where no, I'm not gonna read the books, but I will consider watching movies. And even though Mordor did make Mordor, when I played Mordor, I did go watch the first. Yeah. Whatever year Mordor came out is the year I watched the first Lord of the Rings movie. And when Shadow of War came out, I don't know. I don't remember like the years. But anyways, we're rambling. Talk about the show. The show's good. I think it was really cool. There was like some down moments. Like there's a lot of, this is one of those shows where it's build up, and then payoff, and then back to more build up, and then you have a payoff late. So if you're not into build ups, you won't like the show at all. If you're someone who just wants action, then this isn't a show for you. This isn't like a just feeding you action, just making just the glutton of that you have from being a Marvel fan or a DC fan, a Star Wars fan. Like if you're just a modern person who has who has a glutton for action, this show's not for you because it's not giving you action. It's a story. It's a journey. This is long journey that eventually leads to some action moments, but the action is more background than anything else because what's more important is just the story elements. And I'm cool with that. I love story. As a gamer, my favorite games are the ones that go deep in story. So I enjoyed it here. When it comes to the writing of the show, I didn't mind it. I don't think there's nothing I can think of top of my head right now where I felt like the writing was like really bad or rough. There were characters who I didn't care about, like the captain's kids. Couldn't give a fuck. Like, we're gonna be honest when it comes to it. I couldn't give a flying fuck about the captain's kids. There's like the captain of Numenor. Like, you go to Numenor, which looks beautiful. I didn't know what Numenor was, but it looks phenomenal in this freaking this TV show. And like, there's the captain of Numenor, and he has two kids, a son and a daughter. I couldn't give a flying fuck about the daughter at all. The son even less, and he's like what, Theo? No, that Theo's somebody else. What was the son's name? All right. I had to go to IMDb to figure out what the fuck that dude's name was. Like, it's Selder, like that thing, how you pronounce it? He can fuck off. Couldn't care about him. The captain though was Captain Linden or Elendio, if you want to give like that elvish kind of like flair to it. But he was good. He was well acted by Lloyd Owen. His character was pretty solid. His kids don't care about him. They can fuck off. I also think about the Harfoots. I understood the whole like they wasn't bad. Like, listen, for all y'all out there who like the Harfoots, I'm not saying that they were bad. I just didn't care. Okay, the writing there was solid. The acting there was solid. All the Harfoots were well acted. Listen, I just didn't care. Okay, like look at me. I just didn't care about the Harfoots. I'm not saying they shouldn't have had it in the show, because I understood why they were there, because it's all about the stranger. I'm not going to spoil who the stranger is, so don't, I'm not going to spoil who any of the big twists are, even though one of the twists I saw coming, which is the stranger, I knew exactly who was going to be just via, just watching the show and my own knowledge of, watching the first movie. And when it comes to the other big twists, I didn't see that one coming. But listen, the Harfords couldn't give a shit. But look, let's rewind a little bit back to the acting, excluding the captain's kids who were terrible. The acting for the most part for the show was actually really good. Cynthia Addai Robinson surprised the shit out of me, because she's amazing in this show. Like, she's a surprise star of this show when it comes to who's like the best acting characters. Like, there's some people in here who are just amazing actors, and I expect them to be amazing. Like, I expected Daniel Wayman to be great, and he was. I expected what's his face? That one dude, the guy who played Elrod. I expected him to be good. He was great. I expected Ishmael, who played Awendir or Arondir. He was great. I expected that. I didn't expect Cynthia to be great, because I watched the Arrowverse. And in the Arrowverse, she played Amanda Waller. And she was kind of just meh as Amanda Waller. Now, that could be just CW's fault, because it's CW and they suck at writing. Or it could have been both. It could have been her acting in CW. But in this show, as Queen Regent Muriel, she was great. She was phenomenal. Definitely enjoyed her character. Her acting was phenomenal. I didn't expect her character to be great. I kind of feel like she was gonna be like some random ass queen who probably would end up dying off or something like that. But that's not what happened. She was great. And back to Ishmael, great. Arondir was like one of my favorite characters in the show. Like, easily one of my favorite characters in the show. Like, he and Galandrio are both big reasons for why, like, just the way they're written, the way they're acting, are big reasons for why I'm going to watch the movies. Like, they were great, both of them. Murford Clark, I think that's her first name. I didn't give a flying fuck about Galandriel until this show. Again, I've seen the first movie. I've seen lore videos. I know a decent, like, small nuggets about Lord of the Rings. Couldn't give a fuck about Galandriel. This show made me give a fuck. Like, and it's mostly her acting. It's mostly the writing here. I understand that it's not the full Galandriel story, and so like, she's supposed to be this very powerful magic user, whatever. She's just a warrior, freaking Joan of Arc kind of character in the show. Cool, whatever. I don't care. I just want to enjoy a TV show. I'm not thinking that hard about the show. I just want to have some fun to watch and enjoy it, and be entertained. And that's what I was. It was a good show for me, and I enjoyed it. And Galandriel was. I said Galadriel. There's no N in there. I should know how to pronounce her name, because the streamer who I watch a lot, her name comes from this character. Anyways, but the show was really good. The season finale was intriguing. Definitely like planting the seeds for the next season, which I'm looking forward to a lot. Like, I can't wait for that next season, dude. Like, I can't. This is gonna be one of them shows that I'm gonna get hooked on and just watch all the time. I'm probably gonna rewatch the show when the next season comes out, because I enjoyed it that much. It turned me into someone who gives a fuck about Lord of the Rings, which is probably its point. The entire point of this show might have actually just been to get casual people who aren't fanboys of the show to be into the product, and it worked on me. I now am going to go and watch the Lord of the Rings movies. I won't read the books. I don't really care about the books, but I'm gonna watch those movies because of this show. It was that good. You know, the season before, the episode before the last, not before. I want to say it's episode 7 or 6. Which episodes it was when the volcano went off and they turned freaking the Southlands into Mordor. That episode was phenomenal, like, insanely phenomenal. And my brain, I have a brain that's constantly processed. I'm like a freaking Geth from Mass Effect. And like when they had that one dude, Adar, when he showed up, he had like the black glove on. I was like, see the Black Hand of Sauron? Because in Shadow of Mordor, you have like the Black Hand, you have like, you know, all these other like pieces of like limbs and whatnot of Sauron. I don't remember all the names. This video is not scripted, so I don't remember everyone's name. But the main person was the Black Hand. And Shadow of Mordor is not canon, by the way. Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War aren't canon products. So it was just like in my head, like, if they're borrowing things from the game, and maybe they're in the books too. Again, I didn't read the books. I don't know if the Black Hand is in the book. But I kind of feel like this Adar dude was like the Black Hand of Sauron. It's like, this shit's cool. The other like really exciting thing that like popped up for me in this show was Celebrimbor. Again, that's someone who, you know, doesn't read the books, didn't like see any of the trailers for the TV show, didn't really care about the show's existence until I actually started watching it. But someone who played Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor, I know who Celebrimbor was, and I was like, yeah, I was so invested in him being in the show. It's like, that Celebrimbor, oh my god, Celebrimbor's in the show. And I was like, I was super excited. So as you can tell by like watching this video and like the tone of my voice, I enjoyed this show a lot. Like, this show is pretty good for me. Like, I know there's like a lot of people who, I don't like that there's a black elf. I don't like that there's black harfoots. I don't like that there's Asian characters in this game. There was nothing but white people and orcs and freaking and Tolkien's freaking stories. I have a video about that. I have a video about, you know, people who getting mad at shows for, you know, what races they do and don't put in like freaking TV shows, movies, stuff like that. Fuck off. Go watch that video. I'll probably have it like here or there. One of those sides. Just watch it. And yeah, I pronounced Tolkien's name wrong in the video because I didn't know about the name because I didn't read the books. Sorry, not sorry, but you know, this show's good. Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, easy an 8 for me. Easy an 8. I feel like the reason why it's not higher than an 8, I feel like there's definitely some things that could have been like some small little nitpicky things that could have been better. For example, the Silmarillion. But like if this was entirely like a canon prequel to the movies, I think it would be a solid 9. So if it was a prequel to like the movies, like full on lore and all that kind of stuff, easily a 9. But without Silmarillion, without being like a canon prequel to the movies, it's just an 8 for me. But I enjoy it. I'm looking forward to the next season, and yeah, it'll be fun. I'm gonna like this. This show did it did what nobody else could do. It's gonna be freaking watched all 3 Lord of the Rings movies. So with all that said, that's what the video getting watching. I hope you all enjoy. Leave any thoughts you have in the comments below. All the dickheads, go watch somebody else's video. Just go find someone who agrees with you. Go find like a little echo chamber with it that you can holler in. It's in the place. The rest of y'all, hope y'all enjoyed. Do all these algorithm likes, like the video, subscribe, comment, share, do all that stuff. Watch my Spider like Let's Play videos. Have a new Let's Play video pretty soon. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Y'all stay safe, stay true to yourselves, be kind to one another. It's free to not be a dickhead. Catch you guys on the next video. I'm out of here, been Anubis. Deuces.